Hi, this is Marina from Dark Star Astrology with the new moon December forecast. So this new moon will be in Capricorn Decan 1 at 7 degrees Capricorn, and it will be conjunct Mercury, the trickster Mercury, and also sextile Mars. But the main thing is the fact that this new moon is going to be on the nebula Faces. Now, it has a very unfortunate sounding name as well. But this star group is found floating in front of the eye of the Archer of Sagittarius, and the similarity with the name Faces and Fascist is actually quite impossible to ignore when Adolf Hitler, Joseph Goebbels and Marine Le Pen, and I don't like putting Marine Le Pen next to those two, but since she's been called a fascist, I guess, it kind of goes. But they all have, interestingly, their moon in this decan. So, indeed, some of the traits of Capricorn 1 are actually pretty similar to a fascist mindset, whether you like it or not. Still, fascism's badass reputation fits since Capricorn 1 is used to being exiled. The moon here often has to dish out tough love, and for this it's never thanked until far, far into the future. Not that it bothers these people, because the goat moon does not care much for fawning appreciation anyhow. Fascism arises out of a national emergency where things have got so bad that a strongly authoritarian leader is necessary to rein in the chaos. Moon Capricorn 1 is the perfect parent for the job when the children of the state are causing anarchy. So fascism is an Italian term that comes from fascio, meaning a bundle of rods, and this suggests strength through unity, as a single rod is easily broken, but a bunch is really hard to snap. The moon here in this decan then generally signifies the family unit, and a strong family is also hard for the state to dominate. Family loyalty is then of utmost importance, and by extension, so is tribal loyalty, whether it be to a nation or a common interest group. The moon by itself does not have any dignity at all in this decan, so it depends on the cooperation of others to succeed. Moon Capricorn 1 has a sense of working together for a long-term goal. Harsh northern Capricorn winters breed those of tough stock, but who also know that a man that is solo will surely starve. And it's kind of ironic, really, that Hillary Clinton knew the strength of that meme only too well, because her campaign slogan was "Stronger Together." So let's look at Faces in more detail, what other astrologers have said about it. And yeah, it is quite negative. Vivian Robson goes on about the blindness aspect, defective sight, sickness, accidents and a violent death. Lovely. But Eric Morse does acknowledge that it is blamed for accident and broken limbs, but the positive side shows as the Sagittarian energy that goes out to climb mountains, race cars, enter the ski jump team or the Grand National steeplechase, making it right to the top and no doubt breaking a few bones along the way. But generally this star kind of goes out on missions. Whereas Bernadette Brady is more damning about this star, or nebula rather, saying that it represents the penetrating stare of a lethal weapon. It is one of the most difficult and possibly the most violent object in the heavens. It gives a penetration of action that has no regard for others. Faces in a chart will indicate that the planet it touches will be very focused and driven. The push to achieve goals and aims may well become ruthless. So let's look at the aspects for the new moon. Now, the moon is conjunct Mercury, and that makes it very naughty or very nice, but it also brings a shape-shifting new moon and brings rapid mood swings. Still, a whimsical thought process will prevail, but difficulty getting to the point. Those touched by this moon will be smart at observing the small details of everyday life. Now, moon sextile Mars brings out the tender, sensitive emotions of the moon ripened by the searing heat of an ardent Mars. Just because this is a soft aspect, however, does not mean that this moon can be immune to class A temper tantrums. What the soft aspect can do, though, is make that rage at least productive. Moods can change very quickly, but the frantic tide can be very creative. This new moon rage is short-lived, however, and once we've let off steam, wittiness and laughter makes us forget earlier tantrums. Now, if we look at the chart, it's really, really striking. And this is the new moon that does precede New Year's Eve, 2016. Now, those two triangles do look like a pair of scissors, but I kind of thought to myself that they could be the right wing and left wing of, I don't know, some kind of angel working to screw, or angel, fallen angel, working to screw humanity up. Jupiter is opposite Uranus, and it's also going to be triggering that paedophile cluster, Uranus, Ceres, Eris. Sorry that I have to call it that, but it's just too striking, bearing in mind that what is happening in the world currently. It also occurred to me that the triangles look a bit like pizza slices too. So yeah, yug. But I kind of hope the intensity of this new moon does bring a devastating exposure of the elite trafficking and sexual abuse of children that's been going on for hundreds of years, if not thousands. How long has this been going on? I don't know. I believe that this satanic activity has just become more and more depraved as technology has made things even easier for the demonics to connect with their prey. But on the positive side, this same technology is also being used to make awareness of these hideous crimes, and for that also to go viral. But of course, we've had a lot of censorship of that, or attempted censorship of that as well. One thing that I would advise you to look at if you think it's all fake news, just have a look at, I hope it's still up there. There's a Yorkshire TV Discovery Channel documentary. So, this was like mainstream media, but it was withdrawn and banned. But it still made it to YouTube, and it's called The Conspiracy of Silence. So there's a link. I'll give you a link below. And that was from the 1990s, but you can see from that. Now, the blindness of faces can stick its head in the sand and refuse to see what is right in front of its very eyes. Admittedly, the information is just so sickening, one really doesn't want to deal with it. At the time of writing this post, which may have been probably about 3 weeks ago now, things move really fast in the news world. But when I wrote this, I said that, I remember seeing that Alex Jones having another flip out. But he said he just avoided looking at Pizzagate for a long time because he was afraid of having a heart attack. Bless him. But I know he's looked into it now because people have just asked him to. However, and I also wrote at the time, there are some brave souls who do have the stomach for this kind of gruesome research, and that is the positive side of this Archer's Stare. And then I gave a mention to Reality Calls, who has done some really great work on Pizzagate, but then she had her video banned, taken off. Yeah, the playlist that I wrote about in this post originally is no longer, but she's still looking into it. She's not backing down. Now, I wrote at the end of the Julian Assange post as well, because this new moon will go over this important date. So in that post, I said the last and final conjunction between Ceres and Eris takes place on December the 31st. So I said, now with parents like Bill and Hillary, Chelsea is a Persephone archetype if ever there was one. And I said at the time, we might see Chelsea Clinton in the news around New Year's Eve concerning the US presidency. And at the time, we didn't know either that Donald Trump would even be president-elect. That was written October the 20th. We didn't know about Pizzagate either. So me mentioning Chelsea Clinton may instead be a symbol of children in the White House. So Ceres conjunct Eris might not refer to her personally then, and just information about children who had been abducted into the White House for these supposed alleged parties, hot dog and pizza parties. Anyway, so this new moon, but when you look at it, it does kind of look like a headless angel, and the sort of right wing, left wing. I don't think the notion of right and left wing is even valid anymore. The whole elite thing, I'm going to do a separate video discussing who I think the elites are, or what, and even the use of the word elite is probably wrong. I'd rather say globalists. But yeah, it's more about now, instead of left and right wing, because they've infiltrated both sides. Although I do think, since the left wing tends to run the media, and the media is such a propaganda tool, it makes me more suspicious of it, because, you know, come on, you know, it's like, if freedom of speech is freedom, it's the only way. And if people are so afraid, I mean, if the globalists are so afraid of the alternative media, you know, they go on about this fake news, but they'll let them talk about UFOs and God knows what, and reptilians and shape-shifting things, all that. They'll let them talk about anything. But as soon as you talk about something that really actually makes sense, then they shut it down. So, you've got to be suspicious of that. You have to. So this right and left wing thing of this death angel, whatever it is, so it's useless to kind of to see things in right and left wing anymore, because the neocons and the Christian fundamentalists and the really, you know, the people that want to ban gay marriage or whatever, they're on one side, and then you've got the cultural Marxists on the other side, and the crazy slut walk feminists, really, neo-feminists. So, but I think the new left and right really is globalists versus nationalists, and they've turned nationalists into a dirty word as well. But it's just, to me, I've got to say this now, for me, nationalism is just an extended family. You know, the family, your tribe, your family, you're stronger together, and your nation, you know, is just an extension of your family. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't see there's anything wrong with that at all. You know, and I have to say, these elites, these globalists, they stick together. They have their tribe, and they just don't want us to have ours, because they know that it threatens them, because there's more of us than them. That's the point. So instead of dividing us up between each other as a load of, you know, like a load of fragmented people who are just fearful of each other, we need to, I guess, form individual groups who are also strong, you know, so you can have that tribe over there. I mean, that's what real diversity is, isn't it? You know, so you've got the just for example, tribe of Italians, tribe of Spanish, tribe of Native Indians, tribe of Hindus, tribe, you know, they're all strong in their tribes, but coming together against the globalists. So, yeah, I think that would be the best strategy. And it is like, to me, it's like, if you've got all these sticks from different trees, and the way that they work together strong is if you put say all the oak trees sticks together, because they're all of a similar size and strength, I guess. And then the same with, say, a willow tree's sticks, you put those all together. And then an olive tree's sticks, and you put those all together. So all these different strong bunches will work. I think that's the way it goes. I think it's always gone like that. That's how nature works. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you have a pride of lions, you have a load of buffaloes stampeding, all at once. But if you put a ostrich with a lion, with a baboon, with a little dog, with a horse, with a cow, what are they all going to do? They're just going to eat each other. They're just going to fight. But yeah, stronger together in a faces way. Don't stick your head in the sand and refuse to see what's in front of your eyes. And just learn from what you see in nature around you. So yeah, that's the end of my stick rant. And all I can say now is, yeah, Happy New Year. All the best. Bye-bye.